Hello, I'm Skylar Palermo, and I am in a group with Elizabeth Souza, Alejandro Maldonado, Emily Pierce, and Jessica Nordoff. I'm doing a group video summary on discussion board 6, the English sonnet. Now, for part 1, we had to choose 3 poems and paraphrase them and figure out the rhyme scheme as well as the structure. And so for the first poem I'm going to discuss, all 5 of us as group members discussed Thomas Wyatt's Whoso Lists to Hunt. We all agreed that it is an Italian or Petrarchan structure, and the rhyme scheme being an A B B A A B B A C D D C E E. Now, for the paraphrasing, we each had a different take on the poem. 4 of us mostly deciding that it was essentially about hunting a deer, and that the author, or whoever may or may not be talking, is either getting tired of chasing this deer or is unable to chase it anymore for physical or any other reason, and that basically towards the end of the poem they are giving a warning to those who may or may not want to chase this deer that they should not, because she is more dangerous and more clever than she appears. Now, also, Elizabeth was more so talking about, I would say, probably a woman. She starts her paraphrase off as, "Who is ready to hunt and knows where to find the girls?" Now, the other 4 of us decided to immediately aim at the doe or the deer or some form of hunting, and I actually enjoy how Elizabeth took it. It seems like it makes more sense for the time and for the common theme that we see about, attractive women or women that men are attracted to or have relations with. So I thought it was a pretty good interpretation to begin with, rather than necessarily assuming it was the doe. And also when she states that she is the wind in my net, the 4 of us that did not speak of it as a woman kind of had a different intake. I thought it was good. So now the second poem is Amoretti's Sonnet 1. And for that, we all decided that it was a Spenserian structure, with 3 quatrains and a two couplet, or a couplet at the end, the 2-line couplet. And we all agreed that it was an A B A B B C B C C D C D E E rhyme scheme. And so for that one, we all essentially agreed that it was essentially about a woman that makes you happy, that you can't let go of. And the ending typically ended with, "I hope this poem pleases you. If this poem doesn't please you, then there's nothing worth living for." Essentially, the theme is love, and forever love, long-lasting love. And we all pretty much agreed that the main theme was essentially that you can't let go, or you can't compare of some. It's basically about a woman that you wouldn't replace. And so now for the third poem that we discussed, Emily and Alejandro chose to talk about the sonnet 130, and the other 3 of us did the first sonnet 18. And so now I will read Emily's paraphrase of the sonnet 130. She states that, "My lady's eyes don't shine like the sun. Pepsi Bismol is redder than her lips. If snow is white, her skin is mud. If hair is like wire, then her hair is rebar and not spun gold. I have seen lovely shades of pink on rose petals. I have never seen those shades on her cheeks. Perfume smells really nice, unlike my girl's stinky breath. I enjoy the sound of her voice. I would never refer to it as music. I have never seen a goddess walking on air. Even still, I know my lady's feet are firmly on the ground. I think my girl is special. She is the real thing, so I don't need to find stuff to compare to her. Now, I thought that was a good interpretation. Basically, that keeps with the theme, and essentially, the Shakespearean model is that he almost rips his woman to begin with, but at the end is overwhelmed by how amazing and perfect she is with all her imperfections, which some would say is true love, and I think that is essentially the entire point of these, is that the theme is that there's millions of ways to express how you feel about someone. And that takes me into part two, where we all did not agree exactly on what our favorite was. Jessica, actually, her favorite was the Spenserian themes, or schemes, or whatever you want to call it. And the rest of us chose the Shakespearean. And that was basically because we all agreed that it was easier to follow, it was a little easier to understand, and it really emphasized exactly what was trying to be said about the person, and it's easy to tell exactly how someone's feeling. And I think that was all of this is mostly about how someone feels. So yeah, that was discussion board 6.